Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Oh my God! KO in midair!
Hey, what's up everyone? We're back here today with a slightly different type of video. I'll be focused on the gameplay, but sort of focused on the gameplay. So we're going to be looking at the three things that I generally like to do at the start of every match when I'm playing a light tank, but it can apply to any tank. So the first thing you're going to see me do is immediately I always pop up the team list. I'm checking, okay, what kind of light tanks do they have compared to what I'm in, what kind of platoons do they have, players I may recognize, stuff like that. Really looking, I think every single time, even when I'm playing with others, I'm always checking what light tanks. It just gives me an idea of what I'm going to possibly come up against right off the start, because the light tank on their team is a T-49, so he's probably likely the first one I'm going to come across in this game. So it gives me a little bit of information that hopefully if he's running the derp, he's not going to pen me in a T-50 lightweight, but if it's been something squishier, I'd be more cautious, like a 1390, about facing him head on, because he could easily pen me for 1,000, versus lightweight, not as easy. Then the next thing off of that, after checking the team list and making my kind of decision, is you make a bit of a misplay here, and sure enough, this T-49, getting caught out a little too far there. But generally, I don't think I did it this game, is communicate where I'm going. Whether that's you're in your platoon and you tell your platoon mates, okay, this is right where I'm going to spot, look this way if they're in TDs or whatever, and prepare to have some targets lit up. So it's generally what I like to do. If you're not in a platoon, I don't think I did that this game, you can always ping the map square where you're generally going to be at, and then say on the radio wheel, like, cover me. It's not always going to work, but it's worth the second or two it takes to do that. Maybe somebody is paying attention. Don't keep your hopes up in random battles, as we all know, but it's worth it to maybe get the attention of some people, possibly to help you spot. This game is a little weird, as we have tortoises just sitting in the open, but yeah. And initially, and because it went by so quick, those two things actually come after, or kind of coincide with the first thing I do. And the first thing I usually do is, what's the map I'm on? Okay, so here I'm on highway, and what am I going to take my light tank at? Again, I went a little too far for it, but I usually like that. I was at, I think, F6, F7 type area right there in that middle of the bushes on this spawn. And I kind of base that off the map when it first pops up, but also after looking at the team list and how far forward I'm going to push. This really applies on something like Westfield. If there's multiple light tanks, like 3 on like Westfield North Spawn, I'm not going to push super far on that, because there's a high chance that they have light tanks that are either running around YOLOing or being super aggressive, or they're pushed up far enough in the bush on the opposite spawn that they would spot me easily. So it kind of plays on how I play as well. But just making that mind up, okay, where am I going to go positioning wise to the start of the game, and just base that off of the map, what they had lineup wise, and basing it off of that. So kind of the three things I generally do. Not a hard science, I guess, but it's something I've noticed past playing so much lately, that these are pretty simple things. I guess most people would do them, but yeah, it's just simple little tips and tricks, I guess. If you don't already maybe do that, I don't know. Again, the pinging the map thing, it can help, but again, don't expect support always. And I make a pretty big use of the radio wheel, but also saying requesting fire a lot. And I generally do that on something I immediately spot, just to ping the team's attention that, hey, I just spotted something new. And sometimes people don't have shots, that's fine, but just to make them hopefully aware that, hey, there's a tank here, regardless, as we bounce off the E49. But yeah, it's just generally something decent to do as you get shot down by Death Star, or no, ICRB. However, I didn't really want to feature the gameplay on this one. It's just fairly standard kind of game. In terms of gameplay, wasn't too exciting. He sat at range, spotted himself, and shot at distance. Pretty much the very typical scout thing. If you pray to Stalin and somehow that one goes in, yeah. But this game, like I said, I know I was in 54 lightweight. I know I can be fairly mobile in the field. I'm not going to be sitting in the bush too much, but I know where I want to go in the beginning. I can spot, hopefully, them crossing up the top. And I do also spot them going to town a little bit. Granted, a little bit too aggressively. If you got spotted out and you have my T-49, so that plane went a little awry. And here we almost boggle this. Going underneath the Batchat's gun. But, yeah, just the general three things. I don't know this thing else maybe you guys pick up on my gameplay that I do also. Maybe something I don't notice, something easy that I do a lot. It could be. But yeah, those are the three general things. And hopefully that helps a little bit. Especially the checking the team list. It's pretty important, at least I think it is, in terms of, yeah, looking at what do you have to go up against, just in the whole team, especially you players. And again, I think I've said this before, but I do look and I pay attention to who's on the other team a lot. After playing the game for 6 years now, I have a pretty good idea of who's decent and who's not. You get a little kamikaze medal there. But I know a lot of the good players in the game, so I can recognize that right off the bat for the most part. And base my decision making off of that, on where they're going to be at. It's pretty easy to sometimes predict better players, actually. Because they take fairly, not standard, but they use a lot of the same positions a lot. Doesn't mean they're bad in any way, but they're always more predictable than some of the bad players for initial positioning. But off that, good luck. However, but yeah, something a little different today. And if you want any more other videos sort of like this, I'm fair game for it. But I can also go back to the standard gameplay videos as well, which I will. But hope you guys staying safe, and I will catch you next time. See you.